Even better than I was the last time, baby.
We back.
Welcome back to my channel. I'm Trinity. Today I'm going to be giving like an update, story time update, same thing. Before I get into it, I want to tell you guys my final thoughts about this hair, especially since I'm going to be switching it up soon. This is the Eunice hair. If you want to know the initial review, that link is going to be below. But I've had this hair in for a minute now. I really love the hair. I do not have any problem. As far as the natural texture, which is kind of like on the wavy side, you'll have to look at the link below to know the natural texture of this hair. But I personally like this hair straight. I have not had any crazy problems with this hair to where I wanted to pull it out or scream at the top of my lungs, and that's a good thing. The shedding is minimal. Actually, I would say the shedding is non-existent. Unless you really are looking pretty close, you're probably gonna get like 1 or 2 strands, but for me, it's not noticeable. Make sure to look below for any additional details. I'm gonna try to get you guys like a good discount coupon code because I know Valentine's Day is right around the corner and y'all may wanna, you know, get your hair done for your man. Or maybe not. Some men just want you to rock a fro on Valentine's Day, I don't know. But just in case anyone's asking, Trinity does approve Eunice hair. Getting on to this update, a lot of people have been wanting to know like how I've been doing since the part 1, part 2, and part 3. There was a lot of people that were just, I guess, concerned just because they've been through something similar. After doing part 3, I got a whole lot of support and a whole lot of emails, a whole lot of DMs from women that have been through something similar, and it made me feel so much better. I want to sit here in front of this camera right now and tell y'all thank you so much, because I didn't know who else was going through it. I really did feel alone. Y'all don't understand, because it's so mind-blowing and it's so unbelievable to the point that you really just think it's just you that went through it. Those of you that are lost, I don't know, the link's going to be below, but this is an update about what happened with my ex, you know, going through what I went through and then having to file the restraining order. I'm not sure where I left off in part 3. And another thing that I do want to address in this video is that I did get like a handful, I would say a handful, just a handful of hate comments. Well, I won't call them hate necessarily, I'll just call them negative comments. A lot of people felt like I shouldn't have been sharing the story, which is, it's ridiculous, honestly. Like, I'm the one who went through it, and as you are gonna see in this update, I'm still affected by it. I'm still traumatized, and I still am getting over it. So for me, it's selfish for people to think that I should not share my emotions or how I felt or how I was affected by what happened. Some people felt like, oh, well, this is his story. No, it's not his story. His perspective was clearly different than mine. What he was seeing was completely different than what I was seeing, if you really understood part 1, part 2, and part 3. I don't understand why people felt like it was his story to tell. Like, no, I'm the one that was affected. He was affected as well, but I was affected in a different way. And a lot of people, they want to disregard the person that's actually witnessing it, which is so jacked up. Like, hello, like, what about me? That's how I felt. It was just kind of like, dang, what about me? Because I'm the one that was crying. Nigga didn't shed no tears throughout the whole process. I was the one that was crying. I was the one that was left alone to deal with it. His family wasn't there when it was really going down. My family didn't know about it until my birthday dinner. I was by myself dealing with it, just all by myself, and it was so scary for me to go through. It was a whole lot, and it got to a point where my blood pressure was up, Lord. People are just wanting to be negative about it instead of understanding that it was a positive thing that I did. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm bringing light to something a lot of people don't know about. There are a lot of people going through this situation and they don't have a platform to actually talk about it. I do, so that's why I did it. At this point, I don't care about any of the negative I don't care. So if you're watching this and you're starting to type or you got your own little 2 cents, go ahead, you know, say what you gotta say. It may not be seen, and whatever it is, do whatever you want to do. But I'm letting y'all know I don't really care, because this is bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? This is way bigger than me. This is to inspire people. This is to bring light to something that needs to be brought to light. I don't know how people could have looked at my videos, part 1, part 2, and part 3, and really thought that I was coming from a mean, angry place. No, I was coming from a place of concern for just my followers, for people in general. Like, yo, this happened to me, and this is how I had to deal with it, and this is what I went through, and I want to reach out and let you know that everything's okay, and this is how I dealt with the situation. If you're going through something like me, maybe you should take these steps, because that's what I had to do. That's it. I'm not gonna hold this situation back from my viewers, from you guys, because I mean, it was pretty bold for me to go through it. It was bold for me to sit in front of this camera and tell you guys what I went through. Not only was I bold enough to do it, despite what other people were gonna say about it, I also was brave enough to do it, because some women, they're kind of scared to bring that to light, especially when you have a restraining order out on the guy. You may be putting yourself in more danger. You never know. And I sucked it up, and I was brave enough to do it because it needed to be done. And since it was affecting me still, I still felt like I needed to bring it up. So that was the whole point. And people really tried to flip it. They tried, but it didn't work on me. So I just disregarded any type of negative comments about that. I don't have time for it.
If you don't like what the fuck I post, get the off my page. Just press the button, bitch. It's simple, you know.
Person actually messaged me, and they were just like, you know, I see you posting videos, and you know, I see you're happy and you're smiling, but are you okay? Like, how are you really doing? And the truth is, I'm doing good, because I'm just able to wake up in the morning and just be happy that I'm alive, and I just try to go about my day, and I try not to be negative or look over my shoulder, because I just have trust issues now. I don't trust people at all. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they have a smile on their face. I don't care how friendly they are. I mean, I'm still respectful to people. I'm not rude, but I'm just very short with people. If I don't know you like that, I mean, we not about to have just a blown out conversation. But after going through that whole situation, I just don't know where people's mind is. Like, I did a whole lot of research, and I believe over 40-something% of people are walking around with untreated mental illnesses, and I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my part 2, part 3, I don't know which one. Like I said before, there was a point where my ex, you know, he told me, he was just like, hey, you know, that guy over there, something's not right. And I looked at the guy, and he was so innocent. He was on his phone. He wasn't doing anything. He was so innocent, minding his own business. But yet my ex felt like he was dangerous, or he was going to do something, or he was the bad guy. And it really made me feel for the innocent people out here that really are just innocent, and someone kind of just walking around not really living in reality, how much harm they could cause an innocent person. And a lot of people, I don't really like watching the news, but of course I catch some of the news, social media, shade room, baller alert. I catch certain things, and I'm always questioning, like, oh gosh, were they mentally stable, or did they just, I don't know, like, it's scary now. For me, I do have trust issues. I don't trust everyone. When I first moved into my new apartment, I did order pizza, and the pizza guy, I'm sure he was like a really nice guy, but he really was inside of my apartment. Like, I could see that his eyes were kind of wondering. He was giving me a compliment about my kitchen and all of that, and I kind of was really short with him, and he probably thought I was really rude, but I don't know you. Like, I don't, you gotta stand back, because I've been through too much. Sorry, I don't know your intentions. and he's only a pizza guy. He probably didn't mean anything by it, and it sucks, but that's how my mind is now. Not only that, oh golly, poor FedEx guy. I'll get a knock at my door early in the morning. I jump up with fear, you guys, with fear, because in my head I'm just like, I don't know who's at my door, who's at my door. And if you watch part 1, part 2, whatever, if you haven't watched all 3 of them, then you're gonna have to watch it. But in my story time, I told you guys that my ex showed up to my door unannounced, and it started off with a knock, and from there everything went downhill that day. So I just don't know, and I feel safe, but you just don't know. Like you just don't know. I have my stool right here because y'all know I'm short, and I always have to make sure I place the stool right there so I can see and look through that peephole. And not only that, y'all, for Christmas, this Christmas, my parents actually got me another stool. They said, look, we just want to make sure you can look through that little hole. But there have been times where I wouldn't answer the door at all. It'll be the FedEx guy or UPS, and I just wouldn't answer the door. Sometimes I just didn't feel like getting up, low-key, just saying. I just didn't want to even go to the door. Whenever there was a knock on the door, I didn't even want to go. And I'm gonna be just honest with you guys. A guy, very sweet guy, I'm not gonna go into detail, but a very sweet guy, he surprised me by showing up to my door. He just wanted to surprise me because he was visiting. And y'all, the fear in my body, the fear, the knocking, it's the knocking. I jump whenever I hear a knock, and I'm not lying. It's so real. And he was knocking at the door. I remember waking up so just in fear because I was listening to the knock, and it was a very casual knock. And I just knew, like, oh my gosh, like that could be my ex. He's knocking, and he was knocking for a minute. He was. And then I looked at my phone and I saw him calling, and then I'm like, okay, it could be him at the door. I don't know, it could be him. And it didn't stop there. I even called my dad. I called my dad. My whole family got involved that morning. It was just like, yo, what? They was ready. Y'all don't understand, like, my family, whoo, but I'll get to that later. But this morning was so scary for me. I did end up picking the guy's called the sweet guy. He's on the phone, and he's just like, hey, you know, I'm at the door. And I opened up the door, and he's standing there with Chick-fil-A. And I was so happy to see him, but I low-key was upset at him a little bit because I'm like, dude, you know what I've been through. Like, you can't be doing that now. I was upset with him for literally a second, and that was it because, you know, he brought me Chick-fil-A and all that. Am I really about to be upset after you show up to my door with Chick-fil-A? No. But that morning was definitely the scariest morning ever, and that wasn't even that long ago. That was actually kind of recent. I went through that situation before. See, I didn't tell you guys. I did part 1, part 2, and part 3, but there was so much more that happened after that, but I didn't want to talk about it anymore, and I don't know if I'll ever talk about it, honestly, because there's more to the story. It didn't just stop at the restraining order. I didn't just file the restraining order and everything was okay after that. So many things happened after that I didn't tell you guys about, that just made the situation worse for me and for him. And I don't know if I want to talk about it anymore. I know it would help people, and I know I probably should do it, or I could do it. I don't know if I want to. After 2 other situations that happened, my family were just always ready. Always ready. My family had my back through this whole process, and I'm so happy that I didn't go through this alone. Had my grandfather was worried about me. My grandparents on my dad's side was worried about me. My cousins, my uncles, my aunts. I had the whole family. I had my whole entire family calling me, just checking up on me instantly. Hey, how are you doing? You need to download this app to call the police. You need to have this. You need to have that. Get you a bat. It's time for you to get a gun. My grandfather was not playing. He was even willing to pay whatever needed to be paid in order for me to move. So I did have the support of my family, and oh my gosh, my dad, I ain't trying to get emotional, but I had to go to court a whole lot. More than I wanted to. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know, because I would always tweet about like, I don't want to go to court 8 a.m. in the morning. I don't want to. Really hated that environment, but it did give me more of insight on other people's stories, because when you're in court and all of that, you hear other people's cases, and it's crazy. I think mine was definitely the craziest story in there for sure. Like, whenever, I can't of course tell you guys any details about what happens in court because I can't do that, but let's just say whenever I spoke about what happened, the whole courtroom was always tripping. Talking, people are looking like, what? Like, excuse me, did she just say this? Did she just say that? For me, it was really uncomfortable because, I don't know, I just didn't like going to court. Who does, really? But I'm happy to say that I don't have to go to court anymore. I had my last court date recently, and one of the main questions I get, everyone always wants to know, is he doing okay? Has he gotten help? And he's not supposed to talk to me. I'm not supposed to talk to him. But on his behalf, I think he would want people to know that he is okay and that he is now getting help. The last time I saw my ex was in court, and he definitely looks different. He doesn't look like the same guy before. Grow out his facial hair. I'm pretty sure he was staring at me. I was told that he was staring at me. I did glance at him. I don't know what was going through his head. Honestly, I really don't know. And that's the suckiest part about this whole situation, is the fact that I don't think I'll ever have a chance to talk to him again. It's kind of sucked to have went through that whole situation, and once he's better and back into the same state that he was years ago when I first met him, that it's gotten this far, it's escalated so far to where I don't know if he'll have the closure that he needs from me, and I don't think I'll ever have the closure from him. You know, sitting there in court and seeing him, the only thing that was going through my head was that I hope he does not hate me. You know what I'm saying? I hope he doesn't hate me. I hope he doesn't think that I did this on purpose or that I wanted this to happen. I hope he understands my point of view. I hope he understands why I had to protect myself. I hope he understands why it was scary. You know, I was there crying on the couch about everything, and he didn't see me at all. He didn't see my emotions. He didn't see my tears. He didn't say, hey, I'm sorry that I'm scaring you. He didn't say, hey, I'm gonna get help. He didn't say, I'm gonna do better. He didn't say sorry. I never got a sorry. I never got anything. And it's because he just wasn't in his head. He wasn't in his right mind. So I was invisible. So it's understandable, but it did hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, it did hurt to just see someone I care about really not even see me at all. So every time that I did see him in court, that was the only thing that was going through my head. Like, you know, is he better? Is he okay? Does he hate me? Does he want me dead? I don't know. So many questions in my head. But one thing's for sure is that I really hope one day he'll be able to understand how I felt, because I've read a whole lot of stories on the internet. I've been doing a whole lot of research, and after a person gets help and they're back to being more in touch with reality, they start to just understand why things happen the way they did. And I hope one day he gets to a point where he can just say, you know what, I understand why Trinity did X, Y, and Z. Because on the outside looking in, I probably was scary. I probably was doing some scary stuff. That's the only thing I hope. That's it. That's it, because it was all love. It was all love from the beginning to the end. It was all love. And had I not taken the steps to file the restraining order, he probably wouldn't have gotten help. And I'm saying that straight up, because it wasn't until he was really in hot water to when the steps were taken to really get him help. So I want to encourage you guys, if someone's acting a little bit weird or their actions are a little bit strange and they're not wanting to get help, it's okay to take those certain steps to push them to get help. And I had to push him to get help by getting the law involved, but he's now getting help. He's not in jail. I don't think he needed to be in jail. I don't think help is in jail. So I did what I needed to do, including cooperating with legal advisors to make sure that he did not go to jail. So for those of you that think that Trinity's the bad one, no. Trinity made sure that jail wasn't an option, and that the only option was that he gets help. And I pray that I don't have to go to court again. The only way that I would be going to court again is if he does something to cause it to happen. At this point, I think he knows that, hey, I ain't worth it. Cause I'm not worth it. I wasn't worth any of this. I'm still trying to deal with this. Okay, I jump in my bed all the time whenever I hear something. I used to love the sound of the rain and the thunderstorm. I don't like the sound anymore. I don't like any type of tapping sounds. And this apartment is pretty spacious, so there's a lot of sound, and it affects me, you guys. I can't even go to sleep without the TV on. I gotta play music, and sometimes I don't even want music. It's so all over the place, because it's kind of like, okay, I don't want it to be silent because I don't want to hear something and jump up out my bed. But at the same time, I don't want anything that's too loud, because I need to hear to make sure that I'm safe. I'm really trying my best just to not be scared. And for the most part, I'm not, because I'm a very strong woman and I'm gonna protect myself, period. I'll break all my nails and all that to make sure that I'm safe, and I'm gonna fight to stay alive. So part of me feels safe because I just know, Trin, you gonna fight for your life and do all what you need to do to survive. And if you make it, then you make it. If you don't, then you don't. This is another question that people ask me. Man, it's just, I don't know what I'm gonna title this video. Wow, this is all over the place. But a lot of people wanna know, oh, well, would you have left him if he didn't have this mental situation happen? And the real answer is yes. I probably still would have broke up with him before the whole situation happened. That was just the icing on the cake. That was just it. That's what kind of took it to a whole nother level, including my safety, because some people felt like I should have stayed and possibly died, because like I said, if you weren't in the apartment, so you don't really know the level of safety I even had. Like, you don't know. People think that people don't know what they talking about. I did what I needed to do, and I did not feel safe. And he turned against me. I was no longer a support to him. I was actually the enemy because he said that the voices were bringing me into it. He no longer trusted me anymore, and I didn't know how safe I was. Whatever. Anyway, getting off of that, I still would have probably left the relationship because it was already going downhill. It was always going downhill, always consistently downhill. So I just want to make that clear, because people, they think they know what they talking about, but they don't. We were having serious problems, you guys. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not, but it wasn't safe. It's safe to say that the relationship was toxic. It was toxic. I did care about him. I know for a fact that he did care about me, but just because you love someone and care about them does not mean you should be with them. That is 100% a fact. Oh my gosh, like, that is so real. So real. Because the love that we did have for each other was real, but it was crazy love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was dangerously in love. The relationship was toxic. Like, there's no reason. There were times where I couldn't even record videos because my nails were broken, because there was blood. I couldn't even record videos. Y'all don't understand what happens on the other side of the camera. And I want to tell y'all, as viewers, y'all really don't know what YouTubers are going through. You think you know, but you don't. You have no clue, and y'all didn't know anything. There are certain things that I did hide. I just wouldn't do a video. I would take a whole week off, had to repair my nails, and of course had to get them done. Keep it real, I didn't always have to break my nails, but like I said, no one's gonna put their hands on me and not. I don't let anyone put their hands on me in any type of way and not fight back. So that's simple. There was never a point where I ended up with a black eye or a bloody lip. It never got to that extent, but abuse is abuse. That's all I'm gonna say. Abuse is abuse, period. I'm not about to sugarcoat it or water it down, but I do look at other women, because I did have to go, man, I had to go to this place downtown, and I had to actually speak with a counselor. And before I was meeting with the counselor, there were other women in the building that dealt with abuse. It was like that type of center. And this lady had a black eye, and she was telling me her story. I just felt so lucky. Like, wow, Trinity, do you know how bad things could have got? Do you even understand? It's a blessing, for real, that it's a blessing. Another thing is, after speaking with you know, my attorney and just speaking with experts, they told me that a lot of women don't do what I do. A lot of women wouldn't have went to the extent that I did to make sure that I was safe. And it was so shocking for me to hear, because I'm just like, what? And they were just like, yeah, they don't ever carry it out this long, and they don't actually follow through with the steps to make sure that they're protected. And it's so shocking to me, because in my head, I'm like, yo, you need to protect yourself, period, at any point. I remember my attorney actually told me that some women, they'll throw the restraining order out. Like, they'll say, hey, let's just cancel it out, or they'll get back with the guy or whatever. And that's cool, whatever, but I ain't that type of chick. I don't play no games about my safety, period. What's love got to do with it? Real talk, what's love got to do with it? I'm not willing to put love before my safety. Well, you know, some people would disagree. I don't care. You're not the type of woman I am. I'm just not about that. I'm not about being dead and I died because I wanted to give love a chance. No. That's not me. And I would encourage any woman out there, period. You need to choose your safety first. That's it. If you love them, then you'll make sure they're getting the help that they need. And it was love that pushed me to get him help. It was love. It wasn't hate. It wasn't me being mean. It was, you know, I love you so much that I'm going to make sure you get help. And I'm going to bring the law into it just to make sure that you get the help that you need, because I love you and I want you to be happy in your life. So that's my update. I don't live in fear, but I always make sure to keep my eyes open, and I do not trust everyone, period. Nope. Nope. Absolutely not. I try my best to hold it together. Make sure whatever you do out here, make sure to be bold, be brave, and be beautiful. And I will talk to y'all in my next video. It's so crazy because I say be bold, brave, and beautiful in every video, but when I say it, it really is hitting hard. Like, I'm telling y'all, make sure to be bold, brave, and beautiful.